America is widely known for freedom, but has a reputation for locking up more people given the population than any other country in the world. As of 2017, 197,000 inmates are in federal prison, and a whopping 1,333,000 are standing in state prisons. Good afternoon. I'm Ashley Dombrowski, and today I will be discussing the question, to what extent will modifying the prison system, prison programs regarding employment and rehabilitation impact a prisoner's re-entry into society, along with decreasing prison populations in the United States. Recidivism can be defined as rearrest for a similar crime in a given period of time. This is leading to overpopulation of the facilities. The question to ask is what people are doing while they're in prison, but more importantly, if the activities they're doing are actually benefiting them. The U.S. Department of Justice reported that in 2010, roughly 54,000 people were admitted into federal prison. And then the same year, about 52,000 were released. However, this 54,000 adds onto the 54,000 adds onto the population that is already in prison. And the 52,000 represents the whole rather than the admissions. The Bureau of Justice Statistics said that 66% of people who are released after 3 years return back to prison, and this causes a higher incarceration rate each year and a never-ending cycle. Currently, there are programs for people who want to work after they get released, and the U.S. Department of Justice did a study on testing work release programs. The red indicates the total number of people they analyzed, while the green represents the people who actually participated in the programs. And the orange are the people who had the chance to but didn't. And currently, the people who did participate, there was only a 5% chance that they wouldn't go back to jail or prison. So to solve this problem of overpopulating and making sure when people get out of prison that they're actually effective in society is modifying what we have now. And that's vocational education, which focuses on employment. And this could include learning about how to get your documentation together when you apply for a job, such as tax forms and resumes. Making these programs required, since they're not now, would add more people to the program, and they could realize the benefits that they have that they may have been unaware of. Also, giving more opportunities outside the facilities will give them experience, and if they choose to have a job when they're released, they can use that experience. And it's also been proven that people who obtain a job when they're released are less likely to go back to these facilities. And as for incentive, teachers and inmates can get money, and inmates can get comfort, and this will maximize the participation of these programs. And all three contribute to a reduction of recidivism, which causes this overpopulation. Implementing Nixon's definition of productivity will give a positive work attitude for inmates. So this includes advancements in technology, that they can collaborate with their skills, and also the correct training so that they can improve their skills, organization so they can get more out of their skills, and then compassion so they can love what they're doing in their field. However, the best solution would to adapt Norway-style prison because it is shown to decrease recidivism the most. So in Norway, the longest sentence somebody has is 21 years. And what this does is it eliminates overpopulation, but also decreases depression. Also the environment, a Norway-style cell has a bed, a desk, a dresser, and a window, compared to the more intense look of a cage here in the United States. And also they offer cognitive behavioral programs in which they focus on correcting the behavior in which they're in prison for. So they, along with correcting the behavior and learning how to be a contributing member to society, this is the best solution because of the numbers. So according to the National Institute of Justice, there's a 20% recidivism rate, and then also in the United States a 76.6. So adopting this style would, in the long run, help us the most. Modification would take a few years, so it wouldn't happen right away. We would have to keep implementing teachers and better material, which means a tax increase because we need better teachers and better content and also better tools so they can learn how to have a better work ethic. But it's easier to modify what we have now than to completely change the facilities. But it also does produce effective members back into society, but not as much as the Norway style would. The thing with the Norway styles, we'd have to change laws. We'd have to change laws and completely flip every prison, not necessarily jails, so that they could fit this style, which means taxes would increase very much more. But in the long run, it would pay us back because we would have significantly less people going back to prison. Also, it's proven to work. So we know it works. So since we know it works, adapting it, we wouldn't have any troubles about the ifs and the ands and the buts. And also, it decreases recidivism the most, making it the best. What are your questions?
Thank you. I do have a couple for you. Where's the one I read? Was there stuff that evidence you gathered in your research that you didn't use?
Yeah, I had specific, since every location has a different crime that's more popular, like in Florida, like human trafficking is more prominent than like in Illinois. So I had specific statistics on locations because it's hard to look at as a whole.
Why didn't you use it?
I didn't use it because I felt like it was too much. Like I was being too specific.
All right, one more official question for you then. As you went through this, were there more questions that popped up in, like as you went through the research, did you ask yourself more questions and did you want to find out more information? Stuff that didn't make it in the presentation, but stuff that that were questions that you felt were important to be asked.
Yeah, I definitely asked myself questions of how to measure effectiveness because it can seem like on paper that it's effective, but the material and what people are learning, that's hard to measure if they're really learning it.
All right, you can breathe.